Hi, I'm David Rush, co-founder and CEO of Evzdrop. We've all done it. We overhear that conversation taking place between two people, and we secretly eavesdrop in on what they're saying. We're all curious by nature. It's one of the reasons why we want to stay plugged into what's happening right now. We all use Facebook to stay connected to our friends and what they're doing and saying in real time. But what if we could do that with places? What if we could listen to places through people that are there right now? Those people being strangers or friends who we knew were at the place at this moment in time. Imagine listening to only those people sitting in seats at the United Center during a Blackhawks game who could give you details about the goal that they just scored. Or imagine being able to listen to those people standing in the security line at Terminal 2 who could tell you how long they've been waiting so you knew what time to leave for the airport. Or imagine being able to listen to that person that's eating the spicy tuna roll at Sunder right now to tell you whether or not you should order that or something else later. With Evzdrop, we go beyond the common check-in and use place as the prerequisite to inspire authentic, more credible insight from willing contributors. There's a lot of research and support that's come out recently to suggest that strangers with experience or credibility actually have more influence than our friends and family. Think about that. Strangers having more influence than friends or family. The key thing there is experience. And what we do at Evzdrop is we validate that experience with location. As I mentioned, we're a location-based services app, and our definition for a post or a micro insight is what we call a drop. A drop can only be made by that person standing at the place at that given time. It could be about a celebrity that's walked into a club. Could be about a sale at your favorite store. Could be about the waiter who gave you great service that night at the restaurant. It has to be 140 characters or less, and you have an optional photo that you can attach to it to bring more validity and color to that drop. We allow you to post it to Facebook or tweet it to maximize your reach. And we capture sentiment so that we can tell businesses and listeners whether it was positive, negative, or indifferent. And Nielsen says the #1 concern for location-based services apps is privacy. So we've built a function called Stealth into our app to allow you to be heard even when you don't want to be found. On Radar and Evzdrop, it's all about real time. It's not a review that happened 2 weeks ago or even 2 days ago. It's about what's happening right now at locations you care about. We give you details about the drops, the time, the distance. We help you understand as well how the drops are curated. So with props, you give props to the drops that are worthy. Those that are provocative, funny, insightful, have helped you. It's our natural way of organizing the content so those best drops are showcased in a way that you can get to them. We also allow you in Radar to filter by location or by category. So if you're going on a business trip to New York and you wanted to know which bars and clubs had the most action tonight, we'll take you inside of those bars and clubs right now and let you have a pulse on what's happening from people in the bar at this moment in time. Find brings you places. We'll bring you places that are trending, those that have had the most drops in the last 30 minutes, those that are nearby, those that have had drops that are closest to you. And when you find a place that you want to follow, or what we like to say is listen, you add that to your feed. And when somebody drops, you'll get a notification every time, whether it's Soldier Field, whether it's Lululemon, or whether it's Paris Club. So the question is, why would I use Evzdrop? I already use Twitter or Foursquare or whatever. Why in the world would I do this? We've talked about a couple things already. One, you want to maximize your reach. You want to go beyond your followers and your friends and be heard. Number two is you may want to be anonymous at times. That's why we built Stealth into our app. You've got something to say, but you don't want everybody to hear it from you. As importantly, there's a badge of authenticity that comes with location verification that you can see here comes with every time you post to Facebook or to Twitter. And we all know that term, the humble brag. We let the places do the talking, not you. And finally, businesses are hearing you. All the businesses that we've spoken to have told us that this is more valuable than focus groups or dated survey information that they ask you to give them on their receipts. And finally, a lot of these businesses want to reach you and notify you and reward you when you drop at their places. Listen in, be heard right now. Thank you very much. I want to thank my co-founder and CTO, Eric Brown, who has been instrumental in getting us where we have gotten. As well, I want to thank Aura Interactive, who's played a really big role in helping us get to where we are. and my wife, who's been very flexible through this whole process. And we are excited to announce that as of this morning, we are available in the App Store. Our mobile app, you can download it tonight. We'd love it if you download it and drop it Rosebud afterwards. And our web platform is active, and we are actively looking for talented people who want to help change the face of social media. Thank you.
All right, come on over. Oh, we're in the dark. We're in the dark. All right. Well, there we go. So people are curious, and I feel like this is going to be the first question to be asked. People are curious how this is different than Twitter.
Different than Twitter. I get Foursquare a lot, and Yelp a lot too. You know, Twitter, it's interesting. Geo-tweeting is obviously an option for people. It's rarely used, though. People follow people, and people look at topics and hashtags. But we have the ability now to curate the data a lot more differently through place. We are real-time like Twitter, but with location, we bring a whole different dimension to what that means. So we look at it as though it's a nice complement to Twitter, and it's why we've built in the ability for somebody to tweet their drop.
Okay. As far as being able to fake your location, are people able to do that? Or?
You know, the key priority for us is about proximity. We've got our own proprietary algorithms that are looking at proximity in sort of a unique way in relationship to other location-based services apps. GPS and location-based services are not perfect yet. So what we do is we create a radius that people can drop within, but we also have created props as a natural way to validate whether or not those drops were real.
I guess the same troubles that maybe Twitter might go through as far as monetization goes. Do you feel like does this have the same issues, or how are you going to monetize?
No, we actually took a different approach. We actually spoke to businesses before we launched this to find out how they might use it and what they might pay for it. We don't need millions of drops to make this really worthwhile, because we'll know somebody's actually at this specific place. For a lot of the businesses we've spoken to, it's inbound marketing dollars. So they have them in the place at that moment in time. Their number one priority is obviously getting them in store, but then it's increasing transaction size. So as we have them there, there's a lot of opportunities to make that real-time connection with consumers when they're in store. And the data and the analytics that we're going to be collecting should be pretty valuable.
All right, this one's kind of a follow-on to the previous one. So it seems like these kinds of data sets are only useful if you have a large user base. So people are curious how you plan on scaling it.
That's why we're here tonight.
That's good.
No, we're activating you know, some of the sort of artificial things to prime the pump. But we also you know, hope that through the efforts that we're doing with Social Lift and some of the other things that you know, we have in store in the coming months with the business partners that we're going to be working with who are agreeing to help us establish reach, we can create a win-win and get that reach that we need.
Well, I guess one additional comparison here, Foursquare, what are the primary differences there?
Yeah, I mean, we see three primary differences. I think the first and foremost is that we go beyond the check-in. The check-in is one data point. It's that you're there, but it doesn't tell us anything else. And people rarely use tips on Foursquare. Number two is Foursquare is still about friends. So when you open up the Foursquare app, it takes you directly to friends. And of course, you might want to know about the friend that checked in at LaGuardia, but it's very, very different than when we talk about building an interest graph with strangers who have credibility or experience. That's really what we're all about. And finally, we do intend to govern proximity differently than Foursquare long-term based on what we know they're doing today. But that's less important than the first two.
Okay. And if people are curious, after older drops, once they realize it's a real-time app, so what happens to the old ones once they...
Yeah, so the way that we have it set today is that the red drops that you were seeing are those that have happened in the last 10 minutes. Any of the blue drops have been in the last 24 hours. We expire drops after 24 hours unless they're in a remote area where we want to show at least 25 drops at this point in time. But we're all about real time. So on our United States map today in Radar, any drops on there after 24 hours actually leave the map. So we're not about dated information.
All right, that's all the time we have.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. That's it.